recently saw a victory for a South African side, and the Bulls, now the Lions, they have to back it up. They need a big win here if they want to make it through to the quarterfinals. This is almost at the stage of the competition. Every point is crucial. As you can see there, Benetton, they would have moved up to 49 after getting themselves the bonus point up against the Bulls, but the Bulls are now sitting in second. They are on 61 points. Lions on 44. Gap between them and Benetton is 5, and we've got to remember, the way that this competition is laid out, it is based off how many wins you have, the 4 points differential. So in this case, it doesn't matter that the Lions have 110 points in their favour. They have to make sure they have more wins than their opposition, and also alongside that, have more points on the board as well. But they are up against the second top, or should I say third top side now in Glasgow. They had a tight game up against the Bulls last week, in which they did narrowly lose by the 6 points. But looking through at this Lions starting lineup, they have got plenty of potential, just whether or not it does work out for him. Norde in the front row alongside PJ Botha, as well as Nalabakanye as the number 3. Willem Alberts alongside Ruan Del Pont, or Del Port, I should say, in the locking duo. And then in the back 3, JC Pretorius, Emmanuel Tichuca, and Frankie Horn. Some brilliant players there for the Lions. They have proven themselves all throughout this season. JC Pretorius starting to find his own form as we head towards the business end of the competition, but it is going to be so important that they are able to get that ball in the important moments in this game and try and stop Glasgow from being able to put together 10 plus phases, as that is normally when Glasgow are able to find the gap in your defence and get themselves the try. Morne van den Berg will be the starting 9 with Gianni Lompard as 10, Marius Lowe, and Kronya will be the 12 and 13 with Edwald van der Merwe, and then Max Swane out on the other wing with Horn at 15. Looking through at Glasgow's starting lineup, Ollie Kebble, Fraser and Walker as the front row, Brown and Cummings in the locking duo with Ferry, Rory Darge and Hugo Fenter, or Henko Fenter I should say, as the number 8, George Horn and Tom Jordan as the 19 combo with Sione Tuipulotu and Slade McDowell in the midfield. Those two have been dangerous ball runners all throughout this URC season. And then that pace in the back 3 with Kyle Rowe, Kyle Stain, and then also Josh Mackay as the number 15. What a result on the Mango. What was the result on the Mango poll? Everyone said the Mangoes were great, Grant, in the end, except for yourself, and also there was one other who said, I think it was Eric, said that he didn't like a mango. Every once in a while, I could cook your favourite dish easily, Hamish. Well, it's French fries and chicken tenders, so I'd like to think so. And long shot, but polled a Lions win in the chat as well. But looking through at the reserves for these two sides, we are going to see Nohamba coming off the bench, which is a rarity, really. He's been starting so many of the contests throughout this year in the URC as the 10. Ruan Fenter off the bench for the Lions in this game. And then also Jordan Hendricks at 23 is the other player I'm keeping a close eye on for the Lions bench. Matt Fagerson and Jack Dempsey going to add quite a bit for Glasgow later in the contest, alongside Johnny Matthews, who didn't have the best game in the last contest up against the Bulls. And we've got to remember that this Glasgow side, they made changes before half-time up against the Vodacom Bulls. They took their whole front row off. They brought these men on. They had a bit of an adjustment period, but after that they came right and they started to really cement their work. But these are the two results that we saw last week for these two sides. The Lions on 34 points to 13 in their victory over the Cardiff Blues, who are going to be playing up against the Sharks in only around 2 hours' time. And the other side of things was the Bulls versus Glasgow. A 6-point win should have been a lot more. I think that the Bulls would easily admit that. And then in their game up against Benetton, of course, getting to 50-plus points was a nice sign that the Bulls are on the right track. But this game between the Lions and the Glasgow Warriors is just about to start. They are just waiting for the coverage to kick in New Zealand. A difficult choice, but I go with the Lions from Johnny there. It's a decent call. Like, that's the thing. The Lions come in as favourites. And when does this game kick off? It's supposed to be 2:05 that this game is starting, but they haven't quite kicked it in the guts for the New Zealand coverage as of yet, but I'm sure it's not too far away from kicking off. See, for me, like, even though the Lions are favourites, Glasgow, it is, in a way, their game to lose because they have got the potential of winning this game. The Lions also do, but the Lions are in that situation now. Their competition's on the line. Glasgow, that top spot's on the line. They want to make sure they're in one of those top qualifying spot so that they have a home field advantage the deeper into the competition that they go. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if both of these sides come out onto the field and just play with all passion, all heart, and try and create some sort of momentum for themselves as we get closer to those quarterfinals, which are only a few weeks away. I should mention the next game for these two sides, the Stormers up against the Lions in 14 days' time. Glasgow have got what some would say an easier end to the competition than most, and that is because they are going head-to-head up against Zebre. That is a 6:35 a.m. kickoff on the Saturday morning for us here in New Zealand. We're not 100% sure if we are covering that one on the channel as of yet, but if we are, we'll be probably a pretty one-sided affair. We'll go like this and like that. I'm getting hungry thinking about pizza. We'll go buy one after this match, says Brian. It is a good choice. You could say that Kiwi lads sent you, and then they'll be like, who's that? And, you know, get us a sponsorship along the way. We could imagine that. Imagine getting sponsored by a pizza company. And anytime you just want pizza, you go, hey, can I have 1 cent? And then they just do it. That would be the dream right there. Yeah, this game not too far away from its start. Now, there is a slight delay by the looks of it in terms of when this game is going to be kicking off, or at least the coverage for us here in New Zealand for it to be kicking off, but I don't think we'll be too far away from the start. Do let me know your score predictions for this contest, ladies and gentlemen, and who you think will be able to walk away with a victory here. I do think it's going to be a tough one for the Lions, but at the same time, I feel like that's the type of challenge that they enjoy. They like having to go into deep water, trying to create their chances. TVNZ dropped the ball again. Says Nov Mum. Well, at the moment, it seems like the game hasn't quite started. According to the scoreboard as well, we are still not quite there, but we are soon to find out. Yeah, so by the sounds of it, the game has not kicked off yet, which is why TVNZ don't actually have the coverage as of yet. So we're still good in that regard, but I think that a player to watch out for in this game is definitely going to be Emmanuel Tichuka. Okay, now it looks like this game is about to kick off, which means TVNZ are probably about 20 seconds away from putting on their coverage, but they've had a really poor time in terms of being able to get these games up throughout the last little while. As some of you will know, we did the game between the Bulls and Benetton, and there were a few technical difficulties near the start due to broadcasters not showing the game here in New Zealand. I know that this game was scheduled alongside that game later on between the Stormers and Connacht. Now, we are actually going to be covering that game straight after this one, so be sure to keep an eye out for that. I know that for the Lions, their best start that they've had in a game was actually not too long ago. JC Pretorius was having a field day early on in the contest. That was up against Leinster. Now, no one expected them to be able to perform the way that they did in that contest, at least not in emphatic fashion like they did. They just dominated throughout that first half, and to Leinster's credit, they were able to fire back a little bit near the end of that contest, but it was too little too late. They are another side that are still chasing that top spot in the overall standings. We'll have to wait and see whether or not they can get it. But currently 2 minutes into this contest, ladies and gentlemen, not a try has been scored yet. Similar, well, not really similar to that last game that we saw between Bulls and Benetton, because in that contest we actually saw an extremely early try, and that was for Kane and Moody in the end, managing to get himself the hat-trick. For anyone who doesn't know about that contest, we did see the victory going the way of the Bulls in their contest up against Benetton. Yeah, New Zealand TV at the moment today has just been really, really poor in terms of getting the games on in time. It's as if they've forgotten what time the games are going to be starting. We're currently only a couple minutes in. There have been no tries scored as of yet, but as soon as there are, of course, we will let you know. Lions 24, Glasgow 22 is John's prediction there. And I think Glasgow out of the gates will look to really just make sure they're getting those tackles right. That is something they've done so well throughout this URC competition. Just very quickly looking at the table, the way that they sit, they've got a points differential of 177. Now, they're great at scoring tries, but they are normally just as good at defending tries, stopping the opposition from being able to score points. Their differential is extremely close to Leinster. Those two sides could go right down to the wire in terms of who actually gets that top spot. But another side to not be underestimated is actually Munster, who find themselves in number one at the moment, sitting on the 63 points after a good win over Edinburgh. You must not doubt me, Hamish. If you only know how tasty my butter chicken really is. Says Mono the Grange. Can you do a good chicken tender, though? That is the main question that I do have for yourself. But currently we are sitting 3 minutes into this contest. Our lions can be called lions because of the fact lions is an indigenous animal here. Says Ritzema. And ready for the Lions at Stormers games. Fire is ready. And the beers are poured, says Pubs of South Africa. Yeah, it's always exciting when they have 3 games back to back to back for South African rugby. Like, you just know it's going to be a great time. And the sad thing about today is actually they have an overlap for the South African sides. The Sharks and Cardiff are going to be playing at the same time that the Stormers are taking on Connacht. Now, Connacht are away from home, whereas the Sharks are actually going to be playing Cardiff at home. Cardiff on the verge of that top 11 that we've got at the moment in the comp. In fact, no, they're a little bit lower, I believe. At the moment here in New Zealand, we've still got a screen that just says TVNZ Plus, which is the broadcaster for it here in New Zealand, but they are yet to really kick it into the guts in terms of what is going to be happening in this contest. What we'll quickly do is we'll get up the URC website as well while we are at it. So they are ready to go for some stats. Chicken Bunny Chow in there as well from Lollipop. I'm the best in chicken tenders. I'm very experienced in that. Yeah, it seems like an interesting thing to cook, but hopefully you can cook a good chicken tender. That is one of the more important things that you can cook as well. Yeah, currently 4 minutes into this contest. And at the moment, there have been no tries scored. Ollie Kebble, by the sounds of it, does have the possession. But we'll quickly also mention the fact that Ospreys and Dragons are playing at the exact same time here as this one. We'll go like that and like that. Yeah, New Zealand TV today, like I can only apologise for the fact that they've had 2 games so far that they've messed up both of them. Connacht is how Connacht is pronounced. So Connacht. See, I was always told when I tried to emphasise the second half, people were like, no, you're doing too much. You got to say it a little bit lighter. But Connacht, is that how you'd say it? Hopefully that's somewhere close to the pronunciation. But in this backline for Glasgow, in this contest, I mean, Sione Tuipolotu, of course, in the midfield alongside Stafford McDowell, something that they will look to utilise in this game, although they're going here with Cronje and Marius Lowe, who are not exactly slouches when it comes to the power department. It's game being played in South Africa, though, so they have got that advantage. The British Rugby are not Lions, but Pussycats. There's Ritzema in there as well. The pronunciation is close. Connacht. Is it Connacht? Hopefully that is somewhere close. One moment. We will go like this. We'll go like this as well. There we go. Right, I've at least got a ball tracker at the moment to be able to talk about whereabouts they are on the field as we currently sit, but we are still waiting for the coverage to kick in here in New Zealand. So hopefully it does come very soon. Well, position is for Glasgow, and they have got themselves the line out. About 22 metres out from the line by the looks of it. We will try our best to describe it while TVNZ is not showing it here in New Zealand. So the problem is, for some reason, all of their games, they've been really poor at getting it set up. Right, that is going to be stripped for the Lions. They have got their ball back. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this Lions side does adapt to being able to play up against this Glasgow side, seeing as it's been so long since they has faced each other. Connacht that is what they're going to have. Connacht. And there says Pubs of South Africa. You don't know what the Lions know. New Zealand has paid their electricity bill. Says Krampus and Ostrich Egg and Rugby Ball almost the same size. Says Ritzema in there as well. The fact that we haven't had a try yet in this game, I think, really shows that these two sides might be evenly matched, and this game could be a little bit closer than people are first anticipating. Already 7 minutes gone. believe we've got a scrum feed now on the halfway line. I'm wondering how long it's going to take TVNZ to realise that they haven't got it playing at the moment. Hopefully not too much longer. Makes me concerned for that Connor versus the Stormers. That is happening just a little bit later on. We know the Lions can't beat the Bok, says Ritzema. That will be interesting though. Like, it's a shame that we have to wait so long for the next British and Irish Lions tour in South Africa. Like, we've still got another maybe 9 or 10 years till that next one takes place. I remember watching that British and Irish Lions tour in South Africa, covering those games. Cheslin Colby going up against the likes of not Edwell van der Merwe, but Duhan van der Merwe was playing for Edinburgh in the last contest. Where's the minute silence for Sid going? I don't think they did one here, but they did do one in New Zealand at the Super Rugby Games for him. But they haven't done one in the URC. We play rugby with ostrich eggs on the farm, says Ritzema. I remember you saying about that, how you used to chuck an ostrich egg around, which is very risky, I think. But with how thick they are, you'd assume that they can actually take a little bit of punishment. An egg. Of course, you wouldn't want to be throwing a chicken's egg around too much, or a hen's egg. Might end up cracking quite a bit. Still 0-0 after the 9 minutes. The penalty is awarded to the Lions. I believe they will have the opportunity. Oh, what's the problem, Amish? TVNZ as a joke, no disrespect, says Morno the Grange. Yeah, they're just having a few technical difficulties, I assume, at the stage. Like, I'm tempted to go onto the URC pass again, and I'd have to buy another game. But I'm hoping that they'll be able to sort it out a little bit quicker than they sorted it out last time. And as we aren't too far into it, looks like some sort of injury is currently taking place. We played with 1.5 litre bottles filled with water. That's a decent way. Or someone's shoe is also another really good rugby ball alternative. What's the most embarrassing thing that happened to you as a kid, Hamish? Oh, so many things. To be honest, like, I don't know about embarrassing, but like, something that happened at high school was I ended up getting volunteered to sit on a bloke's shoulders while he rode a about 6-foot unicycle. That was an experience. I wasn't really prepared for that going into high school. But Glasgow, this is one of those games that you're in that scenario of, even if you lose, you have to get a point just to keep on ticking yourself up that little bit further. Because if you are unable to get yourself right, it actually sounds like Rohan Fenta is going to be making his way onto the field. That is for Emmanuel Tishuka. That is a massive injury there for the Lions. That is the last thing that they would have been wanting in this contest. Emmanuel Tishuka, such a dangerous player, like I mentioned. And yeah, he will surely be disappointed about that one there. Your contribution to Waimeti Circus, nothing to be embarrassed about, says Sebastian. Yeah, it was just a random bloke who came to high school. He got volunteered. Yeah, pretty much he was like, oh, you'll do. You're one of the smallest kids that are available. That sounds a bit dodgy, but yeah, he pretty much just stuck me up on his shoulders. Bloody 10 foot in the air I was on a unicycle on a man's shoulders. So if he had messed that up, like, this is back when I was younger, because you couldn't do it now without getting into some sort of trouble. Right, this looks like a nice, easy penalty for the Lions out in front of the posts. They should be able to take the 3 on, and that would make it 3-0. The Aussies have no chance against the British Pussycats later this year. Low year the shoot. There's Mr. Orlin. And back again, have a hunch Lions will win this. And also we have got their back again, got a hunch about the Lions. And as I look at the log, the Irish teams can easily be 1 and 2 on the log at the end of the group stages. There's Mono Lagrange. And of course, the later that they have to play each other would be the better off for them. They won't want to have to play in a playoff game earlier than the final, but there's a chance that it works out that way, depending on who can win their other ones. As health and safety protocols were looser back then, they were. Like, there's no way... Hang on. He's missed the kick. Right right in front of the post. Lombard has just missed that kick, ladies and gentlemen. Probably from about maybe 20 out in front. And how's Hamish long time says, Jose, welcome in, mate. Hope you are doing extremely well. Currently, we've only got a game tracker that we are following for this contest, ladies and gentlemen, only because of the fact that currently in New Zealand, they haven't switched on the broadcasting for this contest. Watching the Fury versus Usyk prelims on YouTube. Mrs. finished work at 7 and the bed is too cold to sleep. Says Mr. Orlin. At 7 a.m. she finishes, Mr. Orlin, is that? Or somewhere else? Now, possession for the Lions just inside of Glasgow territory by the looks of it. Well, Glasgow have managed to get themselves the turnover there by the looks of it. Like I said, we've just got the game track at this stage. I do apologise, but they haven't kicked in the coverage for New Zealand yet. And I'm hoping that they do it very soon because we're already 12 minutes through this game. And it is yet to start for us here in New Zealand. Glasgow still have the ball in hand. Yeah, mate, she's on the graveyard shift. Those ones are brutal, but hopefully, like if she's used to that type of shift, hopefully it doesn't go too bad for her. And how many games you got left for Sunday? We've still got one more. That will be the Stormers versus Connacht. So far, the Lions have missed 2 opportunities to get 3 points in this game. And Glasgow have got themselves the try, that being Kyle Rowe, who has been able to score it. The Lions really looking shaky in the early stages of this contest in terms of the stats that I have seen just popping up. Oh, tries, there's no mum. Yep, Kyle Rowe, the man who has been able to score it on the left-hand side of the field. That is the easy ones that normally get away. So do the Lions have a chance to qualify? So pretty much the way that it sits currently, the Lions are on 44 points. Benetton have moved up to 49. So for the Lions to go ahead of Benetton is not actually possible at the end of this round. But the Lions can close that gap. Connacht going to be going head-to-head up against the Stormers. And the Stormers cannot gain ground. Connacht can slightly have a chance if they win that game comfortably. I believe they just miss out on Benetton because of the draw that Benetton have, or I think it might just be wins. So either way, the top 8 is going to be extremely close, but they do need to get themselves a win there for the Lions in this game if they want a chance of being in that top 8. And that is going to be the part of it that is so tricky for them. Definitely because Kyle Rowe just scored that try. New Zealand tell you have hit up glorious today with rugby broadcasting. Says that Sebastian, exactly right. Like both games they've messed up, which is pretty impressive. Is there any chance for the Bulls get in second place at the end of the group stages? And a huge PD between ADN 11 and 12. Huge PD. Oh, sorry, points differential. I've just realised what that is. But yeah, because that's the thing. Points differential is great, right? But it actually doesn't matter in this competition because if you're unable to get yourself if you're unable to get yourself more tries and try interceptor well taken grubber, says it was there from a lollipop. Yeah, I'm hoping the coverage comes in real soon. I'll be honest, like the fact that they've messed up both New Zealand, or both games in New Zealand so far is really not a good look for them. It's even worse look for us because we're just sitting there pretty much looking at a ball tracker to try and tell you what's happening in the action. That is a great kick from Glasgow, though. The one has gone over from, I think it was Tom Jordan who got it. Do the Stormers stand a chance of winning the URC? As long as they're in the top 8, they are fine. The try's being reviewed. Oh, and Glasgow. He's not quite got it right there. Glasgow with the counteract coming from the Lions now. Big games in the Gallagher today too. Says Martin. The good news about the Gallagher Premiership is it is on Sky. And no yellow card for foul play by the Lions. Says a lollipop there. And also Lions need Lebok. And come on the Lions. I'm a Stormer supporter. Very much Afrikaans. I watched them go for the treble. Might as well mess up the Stormers game too. Doesn't matter now. Are you doing the next game? That is the plan. But yeah, we really need TVNZ here in New Zealand to start kicking in a little bit more. As that seems to be one of the main problems that we have seen at the moment. Because the thing is, I've already bought one game today, and I could buy another one, but I'm in that situation of as soon as I buy it, I feel like the coverage is going to start for that game here in New Zealand, and I don't really know if I've got the budget to be buying 3 games of the URC today. So if you guys want to help us buy the games, donations are greatly appreciated. But I think that's what we're going to have to do. I think we're going to have to go onto our phone and get it going so that we can see the game. And I bet you as soon as I do it, it'll come on TVNZ, but it will be better than having no coverage in terms of what is happening. I'm just loading up the VPN now. We're going to set ourselves back to Germany, and then we are going to be ready to go. But this is bad from TVNZ. The fact that they're the one broadcaster that we've got here in New Zealand, and both games, they have messed it up. Right, where are we? Lions versus Glasgow. I want to buy this elsewhere. Game is unavailable in your region. I might as well get a season pass at this point. 4-9. Good afternoon, Hamish. Do you think Leinster will be back at the bottom of this afternoon, says CK? Back at the top. I think they're going to have a decent chance of making their way, advancing to back to that number 1 spot, just because, like, but Glasgow are playing well here. So that's tricky. Don't buy the game, mate. We can wait. As a Greek philosopher said, patience is a good thing. I'm sure he worded it better. Oh, that's the gist of it. Well, I've just bought it. I wish I read that just a moment ago. So that is another 15 down the gurgler, ladies and gentlemen. But we should be able to watch this game now on URC TV, which, I mean, at this point, we're going to, where do you buy this game? So URC TV is the option. We're going to go in. And it's just kicked in. Right as we bought it. Oh, that's annoying. I wonder if I can get it refunded. We might have to see what can happen in that regard, but oh well. We spent it again. $15, and then it came in straight afterwards, ladies and gents. But now we are ready to go in this matchup. And also, we have got there about buying the game. But yeah, on URC TV, they do have the option. And for the Lions at home will prevent Glasgow from getting the bonus point. Yeah, now the Lions. 7-0 down. They've got a yellow card as well here. And the Greeks are disappointed, brother. The worst thing is that was like, 20 seconds after I paid it. We've waited 28 minutes for it to come back. And then right as I buy it is when it decides to kick it back in. It's a great scrum from Glasgow. Can you afford another payment? I hope you have enough money. It's going to be tight. I feel like I didn't plan on spending $30 on games to watch this weekend when we've already paid for all our other subscriptions. Oh, front row standing up. There's going to be a free kick now to Glasgow. Right, the scrum has been called here for Glasgow again. They are just outside of their 22, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, I think that PJ Borta just having a bit of back chat with the referee saying we're doing exactly what you asked us to do in the changing room, yet you're still giving free kicks against us. JC Pretorius with the spank on the front row's backside. Now George Vaughan about to feed this ball into the scrum. 18 minutes into the contest. Horn has it available, looking both ways. Decides to go off to the left-hand side where they have got plenty of numbers. Josh Mackay trying to break through that tackle attempt. Now back to the right-hand side again. Rory Dash spinning and bumping his way forward. Got a bit of work at the moment. Now Horn again. Back across to Tom Jordan. Link up play. Sione Tui Palotu. It's a good tackle made by Jordan Hendrickse, who is out there on the field. He's actually playing at 12, so that is rather than Marius Lowe, who was initially supposed to be in the starting lineup. Now a little pop pass there from Sione Tuipulotu. One more on the outside to Dash. Great step in. At the moment, it seems like Glasgow are the more aggressive side out there on the park. Go like this and like that as well. Tuipulotu looking for that next gap out wide to Kyle Stain. It was Kyle Rowe who was able to score the first try in this matchup. They wouldn't mind another one here. Glasgow Horn goes away to Tuipulotu. Skip pass from Stafford McDowell. Now Dash down the wing. Man, he's making a lot of metres out there in the short amount of time that he's had the chance. But that is going to be kicked downfield from Lombard after the ball is knocked out of the hands of the Glasgow player. They're inside of their own 22 now, going for the kick themselves. And it has gone into touch. A nice kick downfield from the Glasgow Warriors. One more. We will go like this. We will go like that. There we go. And when the Stormers game begins, you just wait patiently. Seems do not have any patience. I could be wrong. I mean, like I said though, we waited 27 minutes for it to kick in, so I feel like that's a decent amount of patience. Minutes in at the moment, a quarter of the way down in this game. We do still see that yellow card in play at the moment. I feel like the tricky part here for the Lions is trying to stop Glasgow with that counter-attack. About 20 minutes in. He's been patient enough for you, or with you so far, Morne. Right, time is back on. They just had a bit more of a stoppage there, ladies and gents. Right, so by the sounds of it, I might be able to get a refund on my purchase. So hopefully that is the case. Now, a nice short ball to Jordan Hendrickse. Placing Marius Lowe late. PJ Borta tackled by Ollie Kebble. Does have to release him. Greetings again from Johannesburg. Sally and Ash say hello and thanks for the commentary, says Steve Troy. Welcome in again. 2 live streams in a row. Hopefully we do see you for the third between Connaught and the Stormers. That is going to be the next one that we do cover on the channel. And come on the Lions, you got this, says 123 MS. 21 minutes in though, Morne Vandenberg digging for that ball in the breakdown. Now passes away to PJ Borta. Looping around was Jordan Hendrickse. Hello from Chile, Cape Town. Amy still working hard, says Roof. Now Morne Vandenberg going to the short side. Off to Frankie Horn. Thought about popping it up. Hangs on to it for just that little bit longer. Rather than giving it to Max Wane. They're 20 metres out now here for the Lions. Big run from Nalabakanye. Vandenberg, inside ball to Horn. It's going to be a tricky one to try and get their way through. Welcome in, brother. Cheers. Says Sebastian. 11 phases at the moment for the Lions. Flat run forward for Eric Cronje. Glasgow not to be sneezed at. They're good. Says Roof, they certainly are. And they've been told to leave it alone now in there from Henko Fenta. Couldn't decide whether he was running it or not there for Nore. I think for the Lions, with the amount of phases that they put together, they just need to be within the 5 metres of the line. And that should almost carry them over momentum-wise with some big forward runs. If Glasgow aren't able to get that turnover, Morne Vandenberg again goes back across to Nalabakanye. Ball's there again for the Lions. The 9 has been told to use it. He's saying, I'm in the breakdown, get someone else to. PJ Borta. 7 metres out. Up to 20 phases now. And that is the penalty going the way of the Lions. Can the Lions win? I think they've got a very good chance of getting themselves the victory here. Right, the time is off. Are they going to go upstairs and check something here? Looks like the referee. Oh. They shot in on a neutral. Who do you support? Says John. No, I'm down the middle for this game. Right, too many times Glasgow have been caught offside, but they have still got the 7 points on the board. They are in the lead in this contest. And how I wish URC Division 2 starts with Georgia, Portugal, and Spain, with 3 or 4 South African teams, 2 teams, each for the Scots and Italy. That sounds like not a bad idea. I don't know whether or not they'd go with Scotland and Italy teams, but like you could look at bringing in Curry Cup sides, the remaining teams. You know, the Requas, the Pumas. Right, they have called for a scrum here for the Lions. They want to try and back their set piece here. They haven't got Emmanuel Tishuka anymore due to his early injury. Horn, Pretorius still in that loose forward trio. They're talking about a player who's come back from injury, ankle injury. Of course, we've got quite a few injuries throughout the URC at the moment. And as you get closer to those quarterfinals, that's the last thing you want to be picking up. That's something that halted the Stormers' momentum. When they were beaten by La Rochelle, they also lost 5 players due to injury. And that was a good play, and Zebre could okay. Sears Brian, lots of German, Belgian, and Russians in my shop today. Sears Roof, it feels like Europe in the shop. With French Boss as well. The ball's going to be there. Oh, going to have a scrum reset here as the players fall over, or rather if a second division was created for it to be used for second tier countries. See Sean O'Farrell. Yeah, although you may need a big side like the South Africans or something like that to try and entice a broadcaster into it. Like if they just had European teams such as German sides and whatnot, I don't think they'll get the go ahead, if that makes sense. I feel like they need someone like maybe an Argentine side or a few teams from Argentina, a few teams from South Africa or something to try and really tie the competition together. And then you have your broadcasters who want to show the games as well. No need to bring up Stormers trauma, Hamish. Says Grant, I'm sure that live stream last week when my mum said that she liked the Bulls was traumatic enough for you. And that one, Grant. She did say afterwards, she said she didn't like them only because you said that she was a Stormers supporter. Oh, quick tap taken by Morne Vandenberg. But he wasn't on the mark. He's also dropped that ball. It looks like there's going to be a bit of push and shove. Starting to open up between the sides. Shows the intent that Morne Vandenberg has. Referee, though, he's having none of it. He's not enjoying the fact that these teams want to push and shove each other. Wants them to be disciplined. Right. They're going to go for the shot here by the looks of it for the Lions. Which, I mean, it's probably a fair choice in that regard. Yeah, just flattens out the Ollie Kerbal. So she just doesn't Grant. That makes it better. Or she doesn't like Grant, I think that is from Sebastian. I'll never forgive Donna for that, even though I know she was trolling. Sure she was. I haven't, unfortunately, had a look through IKEA, though. That's a place to find one. That kick has gone over now for the Lions, so they are now sitting 3 points to 7 in this match. They needed some points on the board just to give them that little bit of confidence, and you know now they're starting to build that just that little bit more here. But do let me know, ladies and gentlemen, who do you think will win this game? Do you think Glasgow can score themselves a few more tries? At worst, Glasgow want to walk away from this game with 2 points, and I feel like the Lions are in that same boat. 4 tries will give them 1 bonus point. It looks like it's going to be a rolling maul here. And it's going to be a scrum here for Glasgow. Good morning, neighbour. The Kiwi lads greeting from Canberra. So here's Honey, welcome in, mate. That's the Rugby Europe, which no one watches. They had the finals in Paris, but still not full, despite all the playoff games played on the same day. So here's a 1-2-3 MS. And doesn't like, I meant. So here's a Sebastian there. In the end, it was Kyle Stain, as well as George Horn, the 2 players who started holding him up was called as a maul, and then from there, Rory Darge was also in there to stop any chance of the ball coming out. Scrums 1-2 for Glasgow compared to the 1-1 by the Lions at this stage of the contest. Now, I should mention the next game that we are covering is taking place just around the corner, ladies and gents, and that will be the game at 4 a.m. taking place between the Stormers and Connaught. Now, back across here. Josh Mackay breaks through. It was a missed tackle. Ball on the outside. And Rowe gets himself another one, I believe. I think he got it grounded before he got rolled over. But that is a great start for Kyle Rowe if he's already got 2 tries in the first 28 minutes here. Right. He thinks he's got it down, Kyle Rowe. Our Warriors have good winning percentage in those desert, mate. Glasgow for the win, says Ione. So the on-field decision is no try, as he was held up at the end. They're just checking whether or not he got that grounding first before getting rolled over. Will Donna be watching your favourite team, the Stormers? She will not know. She is currently asleep. Right, if he doesn't get it down here for Kyle Rowe. Oh, we need another angle. I'm doing the Stormers and who? That was an interesting pronunciation. I was told it was Connaught, is how you say it. Am I better off just saying Connaught and not getting completely, destroyed? And also a Stormer, but I hope the Lions win. I don't think there will be 4 tries here, maybe 3, says John. Probably a fair shout. Unless, of course, this is a try for Kyle Rowe. This wide angle will show us. Oh, I think it's going to be no try just because the on-field decision is no try. Mone van den Berg have been able to stop. All right, this one's going to be the best angle. He's short. He's short. He's short. I can't tell. I've seen you only cover 5 Super Rugby Pacifica. What happened to the 6th match and what was the score? So the other game was 27 points to 7 in favour of the Western Force over the Waratahs. Reason we didn't cover it is because we had 3 games back-to-back of the URC that we were also covering, so we were trying our best to kind of balance them out. Right, there's no clear evidence. Donna watched the Bulls win and then called it a night. She doesn't have time for the unworthy teams. And Connaught sounds like a painting coming out of Pretoria. Says a Grant there. There's going to be no try, but Glasgow were very close to getting themselves their second, and it would have been Kyle Rowe's second as well. 28 minutes in, still 7 points to 3. It's close enough in this contest that it could go either way. The way that it does currently sit. Glasgow currently leading with the possession stat and territory, both in favour of the Lions in this one. Nicely claimed. Here comes Josh Mackay. Across the right-hand side, Tom Jordan just saw a highlight of Bulls Benetton, very bad. Defending from both teams. Most of the tries look like it was a 7s game. Says Brian, Glasgow Warriors. Says T. Rutherford. And they're looking on the verge of possibly breaking through for another opportunity to score here. To the right-hand side. In behind, Sione Tuipulotu goes to Rowe. Quick hand stain. The Kyles linking up. But it's dropped by Rory Darge. We're disappointed with that one, Darge. Just starting to shift. I don't know that's what she's not watching. Or no, that's what she's not watching this game. Well, that's why she's not watching this game. She dozed off until the Stormers game kicks off. I hope you are looking forward to the Challenge Cup final and the Investec Champions Cup final. We certainly are. We are covering both of them on the channel, ladies and gentlemen. The Sharks playing up against Gloucester. That is going to be an early morning start for us here in New Zealand. And then that is on Saturday, so Friday night for you guys in South Africa. And then Leinster versus Toulouse. It's going to be a nice afternoon time for you guys in South Africa. Win predictor at the moment is Glasgow as a 68% likely to win this contest, although of their chances, they've only been able to take 1, which I think will be something that they look back at throughout this first half and are possibly disappointed with the fact that they haven't been clinical to score more than just the 1 try. The ball about to be fed in. Yes, it is. Now, it's going to be a big push coming. Here comes Jordan Hendricks. Ball stripped straight off him. Henko Fenta goes across, trying to get the quick hands going there. And looking for the 50-22, or at least a kick downfield, was Stafford McDowell. They're 5 metres from their line. Max Wane has to pick it up. Tries to bump off one challenge. Rowe takes him down. Counter-ruck coming from Glasgow, although they've lost their footing. Mone van den Berg now. Going to pass it across. I think Henko Fenta may have been a little bit offside there. Is there any chance that you are going to wear the suit for the finals? Probably not. We might wear a tie if you're lucky. Possibly, like a shirt and tie. Similar to what you wear to a wedding type thing. But now a chance here for Edward van der Merwe. Moves almost up to the 22, but on the ball straight away. Kyle Steyn with the clean turnover. Glasgow back on attack. And good low tackle made on Ferry. Henko Fenta running it straight at Cronje. And they've got themselves the advantage by the sounds of it here. But Glasgow kick him high from Sione Tuipulotu is unsuccessful. No bow tie and no shirt. Just a suggestion. I do own a bow tie. And I guess I do own no shirts at times, but we'll see. Probably not that one though. Probably more than likely a suit and tie. Well, not a suit, but just a dress shirt and tie, you know. Something you wear to a wedding, like I said. Something along those lines. I had a wedding photo taken of me recently, but I looked like a bogan, which is a word for someone who looks a bit strange in New Zealand. I'm not sure where it is, though. I can't actually remember when it happened. The old wedding. It was in February, I believe. Yeah, it was the opening weekend of Super Rugby now that I think about it. So I did miss that first game between the Chiefs and the Crusaders because of said wedding. See, I didn't have the tie though for that one. It's also a sunny day. You kind of can't see me because it's not focused. You know, I might wear that shirt. We'll see. Might have the tie with it. That was a very unfocused picture. Are you going to wear the suit for the Rugby Championship? Probably at some stage we will end up putting that one on. Hamish too sexy for his shirt. Nah, this one's still firmly attached. I've got the Tonga jersey going though, the old Rugby League World Cup. I've got a whole heap of Rugby World Cup merchandise because it was super cheap when the competition ended. I have 15 rugby balls from it. But that is going to be the penalty going the way of the Lions. A draw making the playoffs, great news. They're close. They just need probably one more win or a few more bonus points. Are we able to sell any stolen cars that day? Says Sebastian. No, I was not. No, unfortunately. They did have a Ford Mustang there, which was very nice. Well, with a bow tie, your head looked like a shitty, says John. And go on the line, says Outlaw. Now 45 metres out, they will have themselves another line out here. And just a good push there. I think it was actually on this side of Nalabakanye, but also Murphy Walker was under pressure from Norre. What was the context of that photo, Hamish? It was just a wedding that I went to this year for my cousin's wedding. So it was because I mentioned about a dress shirt, so I tried to explain it by showing you a picture of said dress shirt. Now running forward here, Jordan Hendricks. Looks like Xander Fagerson. He's making his way onto the field. That is for Walker. So once again, they've made the early change here for Glasgow. This is actually exactly what they did in their game. Oh, beautiful break and run there for Cronje. Max Wane's got pace and he will score the try that gives the Lions the lead in this game. They are back in it, ladies and gentlemen. The Lions mascot is loving what he's seeing. And so are the crowd and attendance. Mufasa is the name of the Lions mascot, they've just said. And he is loving it. That was the ref there. Why did he just dapped up the ref? He just gave him the old one of those. What was the ref doing with it? Unless it was a trainer. Maybe it was a trainer, but yeah, it looked like the ref. He dapped him up. Unless it was, yeah, like maybe a water boy or someone. Yeah, great pace from Cronje to break the line, and then Max Wane was just gone. To show all its female supporters who love Amish. Says Brian there, who could Stein make the box. Which one we talking? We talking Mornay Stain. We talking Kyle Stain. We talking which other Stains we got? Can't think of too many off the top of my head. I have lost a phone somewhere along the lines. In the process of buying the game and whatnot, there's now a missing phone, ladies and gentlemen. Kyle. I don't think so. No, he's already tied up with Scotland. I see you. I seen you that white shirt. You're looking quite tall in that picture. Well, that was probably a lucky picture then, because I'm not that tall. Ospreys 14, Dragons 6 at the moment in that contest. Now we're running it for. Oh, that was high. That was high. That was bad. That is going to be more than likely a red card here. Ryan Fenter, he's gutted there. He looks like he really didn't mean to do that. I think he also took a head knock though, so that is why he was a little bit wobbly on his feet. Mufasa is dead. That was in poor taste on the Lions' part. Sebastian. Right, they're checking for foul play. Stupid eye shot. Yeah, it was just a really dumb one. And I mean, Ruan Fenter straight away just put his hands up and went, sorry. But, you know, this is more than likely going to be a yellow card at least. Oh, no. They've just mentioned 20 red is already on a yellow card, so he's gone. There's no doubt that this is going to be at least a yellow card. Here we go. Yeah, that's just a bad shot. That's going to be at least a yellow. And Kyle cannot play for the Box. He's already playing for Scotland. He'd have to wait 5 years without playing for any other country. And also Francois Stein. And also thanks for all the early mornings, late nights, and great commentary, Hamish. We all appreciate it, mate. Says Pubs, South Africa. No worries at all. We've got plenty more coming in the future as well. Yeah, that's just a bad shot. They're checking to see if there's any foul play, and there is. Okay, one of the touch judges who had a South African accent, I think I heard, said he feels like there's clearly a change in direction. But I still feel like this is at least a yellow card, like the Sam Cane incident, very similar. Says Lollipop. Okay, Mornay has got a good point. So they're just going to check it to see the directional change of Tom Jordan. Nah. No change in direction. Mornay was grasping at straws. Okay, it's going to be a straight red regardless of whether or not he had a yellow card already, which he did. And listen to you now with a lamb chop on the braai. Well, hopefully it cooks up very nicely for you. Which player got a yellow, buddy? So it is Ruan Fenter, the replacement for Emmanuel Techuka, has already got himself. It's a red card there. He wants to go over and shake the hand of Tom Jordan. He apologises to him. Actually, I don't think he found Tom Jordan to apologise to him. And yeah, he's frustrated. He's just thrown his headgear on the ground for Ruan Fenter. But he's just really frustrated with what he's done there, because that may have just cost the Lions the game, unfortunately, and there's no one to really blame but himself for the way that he tackled there. If possible, would Kyle make the team? Depends on what they're looking for, wouldn't it? Because, of course, Rassi, we don't know what the tactics are, but also the waiting 5 years would be a poor one. Right, Marius Lowe has gone over to Ruan Fenter. I'm not sure what's just been said there, but I think Marius Lowe went over to him, tapped him on the shoulder, and then after whatever Ruan Fenter said, Marius Lowe's gone, okay, and walked away. So I feel like he was told to literally just leave him alone or something along those lines. He's very frustrated. at the moment, Ruan Fenta. Now they have to play for 45 minutes with one man down. Looking for the gap is Josh Mackay, who moves up to the 22 here. Well, Glasgow will go top again. CCK. Now back across, grabbing him behind by Sione, Tuipoloto, Max Owane has to force it down. And it will be the goal line dropout now for the Lions. But Glasgow are throwing everything into this now with the fact that they don't have a loose forward on the field here for the Lions. The fact that they're playing with only 2 of them rather than 3 means they've got a really large advantage. But I don't think I've seen too many people saying that that was not a fair card, because he did go very upright in that one, Ruan Fenta, given as a straight red, so possibly a suspension attached with that one. Now kick downfield from Horn, that being Juan. Slade McDowell controls it on the halfway line. Tries to bump off the Lions tackle attempt. Horn goes across. Now I should mention Tom Jordan. The reason that he couldn't actually find him to apologise was because he's already been taken off the field. Now, offload coming from Enko Fenta. George Horn gets one more offload. This is great work. Johnny Matthews. Oh, that's a big shot coming in on him. And there is a knock on from the Lions. Marius to Ryan Fenta. For that tackle. Says Grant. They're 5 metres out now. George Horn slinging it out wide. Josh Mackay under penalty advantage for the Glasgow Warriors. Good hands from Sione Tuipoloto. Short ball to Stephen McDowell. One more out to Kyle Stain. Tries to step on the inside and does slightly end up slipping. Have to get out of there, the Lions. So get themselves penalised again. Horn goes to the short side. He was just in touch though. I think he is good, but also not sure if could beat Kirtley, Arons, Moody or Chislin. So here's a 1, 2, 3. That's the thing, like, does anyone have an update on Chislin Colby? Because I have not heard a single thing about him since he is overseas. Like, I know there were rumours that he was going to sign for the Stormers, but they kind of fell through. I know that, like, he is still at Toulon, I believe, or Toulouse. I think Toulon, but I haven't really heard anything. Is he currently injured? Is that why we haven't heard too much about him? Right. Okay, they're just checking to see if there is a cynical action here from Max Wane with the tip tackle. Oh no, it's the deliberate knockdown from Juan Horn. He sticks his hand out. It's away from his body. This sounds like it's going to be another yellow card. And the Lions, they are not playing like a side that are on the verge of the top 8. They are playing like a side who are trying their absolute best to miss out on the quarterfinals. And Chislin is apparently playing rugby. Oh, is he in Japan at the moment? That might have been why I haven't heard too much about him. Yeah, that one, it's quite bad from Juan Horn. It hasn't stopped a probable try, I don't believe. They had cover. There are regular updates of Colby ripping it up in Japan. See, in New Zealand, we've heard nothing about him, which is weird. But I think that's because, like, even for us in New Zealand, like, I've hardly heard anything about Richie Moonga. I've hardly heard anything about Bowden Barrett, Sam Kane. He's playing Oompa Loompa in theatre. Colby's in Japan, says Doctor. And this ref is doing everything he can to help Glasgow. Says, but I mean, that one, like, these 2 cards that I have seen, of course, I didn't see the first card against Fenta, but these 2 cards I think have been clearly the right decision. Like that one, because it's a deliberate knock on. There's a YouTube channel that regularly posts about it, his exploits in Japan. I have to try and find it, won't I? Now 5 metres out. Like that rear card one was just silly though from Fenta. Like he was upright, well and truly. There wasn't much of a directional change. It's going to be a loose ball. Johnny Matthews gives it back into the hands of Coronia. The Lions are still in the lead. They've got 10 minutes remaining off this yellow card, though. I think the Bulls need to win their last game to avoid playing the Stormers in the quarterfinals. Says CK. And Lions often shoot themselves in the foot a lot of the time. Close scoreline halftime. Someone taking this match home in the second half. And they've managed to get this ball now. For the Lions, they've got 25 seconds remaining. Glasgow are also playing with less men on the field due to an injury. Same team as Artie, I think. Says Doctor there. Counter ruck coming from Glasgow, but the Lions protect it. 15 seconds left to work. Here comes Norde. Tackle low again. Now across. Jordan Hendricks, wrong choice there. Kicks it in behind. Goes into touch. And that is now going to be half-time in this contest, I believe. Or we may have... Nope, not quite enough time. So that's going to be half-time. 8 points to 7. Oh, that looks like an injury to Stafford McDowell. That looked like maybe his pinky was sliced open. From the looks of that, Lions don't have the depth. Says 1, 2, 3 MS. Yeah, half-time in this contest, 8 points to 7. I don't think either side will be like hugely... I think Glasgow will be the more disappointed side. They're playing up against 13 Lions at the moment. They've been playing up against 14 at other stages throughout the half, and they haven't really been able to get a huge amount of tries. Lions not, says Doctor. Should I mention the next game is taking place in an hour. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the game between Connacht and the Stormers. We are going to be covering that one. Sharks versus Cardiff taking place at the same time. We are only going to be able to cover one of those contests. So the one that we are going to be covering, of course, is that one between Connacht and Stormers, just because it is more of a battle in terms of the top 8. At the moment, Connacht are sitting 9th. Stormers are sitting 5th, so they want to advance just that little bit further up. They cannot catch the Bulls, as the Bulls are actually up to 61 points now. But Glasgow have the potential to go on top of the table if they can score themselves 3 more tries and get themselves their win here. But Leinster are still to play for this weekend, so that is probably the other factor that could be quite interesting to watch by the end of the weekend. One moment, we'll go URC. So Leinster have got Ulster. That is at 6:35 a.m. New Zealand time. And Connacht versus Stormers, that is kicking off at 4:05 a.m. New Zealand time. And we are, of course, going to be covering that one as well. That is our last game of the weekend. But next weekend, we've got plenty of action, including, but not limited to, Stormers versus Lions we are going to be covering. Also alongside that, the Sharks versus the Bulls. So those 2 games are back-to-back. Then I believe... Oh, no, sorry, that is 2 weeks' time, I should say. Next weekend we are, of course, going to be covering the Champions and Challenge Cup. I was confused for a second. I was like, how are the Sharks playing in 2 games in the same weekend? Lions not doing too good. Is Glasgow a good team? They are a good team. They are sitting 2nd on the overall rankings. They're known for their strong defence and their pretty effective attack. But I think that Lions have actually mitigated some of that attack throughout this matchup. He's in Japan. There's Sean O'Farrell. And had some good, or had some British. Says Ruth. That is a big yawn for myself, ladies and gentlemen. Ooh, that was a very loud screenshot there. I was just looking at some of these stats for this first half. Possession and territory, both in favour of the Lions earlier on, about 30 or so minutes in. And then the momentum slowly started shifting the other way. And I believe at the end of this half, possession is still just in favour of the Lions with 52. If I can see that, they blow hot cold too much. Says Sean. And it's safe to say the Lions is not going to make the playoffs. And it is a shame because throughout this season, I feel like at times they have had some brilliant performances. Like we look through at some of the games that they've won and you think to yourself, they should be up there. But unfortunately, just hasn't quite worked out that way. Hamish, is rugby a popular sport in Japan? I know that baseball crazy. Says Brian, it is it's not the most popular, but it's up there. You know, it's slowly starting to get a bit more traction with the Japanese top league. Does draw decent crowds, very respectful crowds as well in terms of the way that they do cheer on their sides. 9 defenders beaten for the Glasgow Warriors compared to the 5 defenders beaten from the Lions. In terms of the number of tackles, it's pretty impressive from Glasgow. 93% tackle completion. 64 tackles made, only missing the 5. And then for the Lions, they have made 92% of their tackles, which is also pretty decent for them. What's the number 1 sport in Japan, Hamish? I believe it is baseball. Or maybe sumo, like Albert said, that might be a fair shout there. Penalties, we've seen 6 against both of these sides. We've seen 2 clean breaks from Kyle Rowe. And then also Josh Mackay has had the most running metres out of any player in this match so far, followed by Max Wane, who had 21. Probably drifting. Is that from Tokyo drifting, I assume? In that case, Gregor Brown actually making 11 tackles throughout that first half, playing at lock. Cronje had the most tackles made for the Lions. And then Fraser, as well as Frankie Horn, are the two players credited with having 100% tackle success throughout this game. Yeah, second half will be intriguing. See how it's going to end up going. We'll go like that, and like that as well. Currently, I am hoping to see some sort of information for this game in terms of what the odds are sitting at. Currently, the Lions are still slight underdogs. $1.87 compared to Glasgow's $1.82. Now, that's actually quite impressive that they are that close, seeing as they do have the red card in play for the rest of this contest. And alongside that, they are also going to have to deal with that yellow card for the first 9 or so minutes of the second half. Stags on top of the URC ladder. A few more rounds. Stags, Blues, Nate. Yeah, we're getting to the business end of the competition. We have only got one round remaining after this one. So it's all about how you play here. The Stormers, they will be going head-to-head with the Lions. That is the next game of the URC that these two sides are going to be playing in. For Glasgow, their last round is up against Zebre. That is in 13 days' time. It's going to be an early morning start on Saturday morning. I don't believe we have plans of covering that game. If we were to cover a Saturday morning game, it would probably be Leinster versus Connacht. Just looking there, Stormers versus Lions, like I mentioned. That's actually scheduled to take place at 11:45 p.m. on my clock here. Well, on that one it's 12, but on this one it's 11:45. So either way, it'll be roughly somewhere around there that it is taking place. Just going to quickly check for Super Rugby. Of course, we are going to be at the business end of that competition as well. Most recent game taking place was the Force versus Tars. We didn't cover it, but the Force getting themselves a nice win and moving up to the 19 points. But the last round, I believe, Force versus Brumbies would take place at 9:35, so there's no overlaps, which is absolutely perfect for us. We'll be able to cover all the games to our heart's content. And Usyk for the win. Fury fades away in the sunset. Says 1, 2, 3 MS. How well do sumo wrestlers age? They normally are pretty young when they pass away, sadly, just because of the strenuous, strain on their heart. Which I know strenuous kind of means the same thing, but yeah, it's an unfortunate one. Japan is baseball, sumo, football, tennis, and golf. The rugby growing big, says Ritzema. And probably, depending on activity A, says Mr. All-In. And the Ospreys currently 19 points to 6 ahead. And that other contest up against the Dragons. And just to put that into perspective, for the Ospreys, they would need to win both of their games quite comfortably to be able to get themselves in with a shot at the quarterfinals. Now, the thing is, if the Lions lose this game and they lose it by more than 7, I believe they can no longer make the top 8 because they will still be on the 44. Benetton have moved up to 49 at the moment and they have got more wins, and that is what they consider. So if the Lions lose this, their chances of making the URC quarterfinals are gone. Connor still have a little bit of an opportunity here if they do manage to beat the Stormers. If they don't, they are in the same boat almost. I believe that would mean that they would need a win and a better points differential than Benetton, which wouldn't be too hard to do now that Benetton did have a big loss. So if Connacht are going to lose, they have to make sure that it's close. But then in their final game, they will have to beat Leinster to get through. So there's some big games still to come in the URC. We are, of course, going to be trying to cover as many of them as we can in the final round of the competition. And anyone who's new, be sure to hit that subscribe button. And also, be sure to hit that like button as well on this live stream. Currently showing me Giraffes. Why do you want to age? Says Ritzema. Why do I want to age? I mean, that's something I was talking about the other day. I think it was on a stream, how I said, when you're young, you want to be older. When you're older, you want to be younger. It's kind of a little bit weird, isn't it? Oh, tell you what, the $9.99 crispy box has got me keen. Although there's no KFC nearby, sadly, so that's unfortunate. It's also 3:10 a.m., so no KFC would be open for myself, not consistent as the Lions' problem. I feel like a sumo wrestler, and we are halfway through the streaming stack non-stop, says Arthur. What have you been snacking on, Arthur? Do let me know. I'm keen for some snack ideas. Aged meat, says a 1-2-3 MS. Yeah, second half not too far away from getting underway in this contest. Like I mentioned, the next game that we are covering is actually kicking off pretty much directly after this one is finished. That is going to be the game between the Stormers and Connor. We don't really get much of a break in between the two streams. Amish, do you know which has the most complicated playing rules between American football or rugby union? I would actually argue union has the more complicated rules, just because in terms of the breakdown, that is quite a hard concept to understand. There are certain things in American football that seem quite complicated as well. I'm just listening to how to say Connacht is what they've said there for the pronunciation. Is Connacht correct? Or would that be wrong, ladies and gentlemen? Connacht. We'll see how that goes. Pasta, cheesecake, double-decker biscuits. Rugby is growing in Japan. Big names in Japan, Japanese. What snacks are you interested in? I mean, just anything that's a food, really. And based on how old the sumo wrestlers age, says Ritsima. Oh, why do you want to know how they age? I think it's just out of curiosity to see how, because they are doing such taxing work. Much better, sir, I should say. Now I can't pronounce sir. Connacht. See, I used to say Connacht, didn't I? And I used to I get a little bit of stick. Doesn't sound right. Connacht. I think it's because she's got an American accent, the lady that I'm mimicking. Connacht. Any thought on who Razor will include in a squad for the Rugby Championship? I think he's got to have some young guys in there. Yeah, I was saying Connacht, and then I got a lot of stick, so I changed it to Connacht, or Connor. I think a rugby union doesn't have rules; it has laws. Just being a pendant, says Grant. Now, second half, very close. Both sides about to make their way back out onto the field. Connacht going to be in action up against the Stormers. That will determine a little bit to do with the top 8. Currently, the standings points differential for Benetton is actually sitting -14. The Bulls, they are sitting in second. Glasgow Warriors on the live standings, they are in third, but if they got themselves a win here, they would go back to second place, if not first, actually, depending on the differentials. Some of the greatest players in the world now play Japanese club rugby. In Glasgow, we have an easy W versus Zebra, and I hope the fans aren't too hard on him. As his debut season, if he loses a few, he needs to build a team to compete at the Rugby World Cup in 2027. And that's the tricky thing. As a coach, you look at someone like an Eddie Jones, he got no sympathy from Australian supporters. You look at Ian Foster, he got no sympathy from New Zealand supporters. Even I remember a time when Jacques Naneiba also was getting a lot of stick from South African supporters. And as a coach, that just is brutal at the start of your tenure. To Neighbour's credit, he was able to hang around and he managed to get himself a World Cup in the cabinet, which I feel like is a massive kind of feather in the cap of that man. It was supposed to be pedant, but it auto-corrected pedant, sorry, rather than pedant. And do you like a sliced boiled egg on your snack? They call in South Africa salty cracks. I don't mind a boiled egg. I haven't really had it sliced up normally. I'd just eat it. Unless I'd slice it if I was putting it in something, I guess you could say. But now, about to be kicked off for the second half. 1 point difference between these two sides. And well taken by the Lions inside of their own 22. 13 against 15 at the moment for the next 5 minutes. So they need to try and use up as much time as they can here, the Lions. Tell you what, they're playing football at the moment. Neither team wanting to hang on to it. And it's going to be a good tackle made by the Lions. Looks like the hands were down for Willem Alberts. With salt and pepper on Salty Cracks is great. Says Grant, your pronunciation today is as spot on as New Zealand's tele-broadcasting schedule. That's brutal, Sebastian. That's quite mean, isn't it? Hopefully I can get a refund for this game, because they said if you didn't watch the game, you can get a refund, hopefully. So I'm hoping to do it that way. Challenging 40 minutes for the Lions, says Arthur. And honestly, Foster was his own worst enemy. He was too inconsistent with his selections, and he broke all Blacks' unwanted records. And he was biased to the Blues and Chiefs players, says CK. Now, line-out throw will be for PJ Bota. Like I said, the next game that we are covering is actually kicking off in around 45 minutes' time. So this half has to run smoothly, or else we may end up actually missing a couple minutes off the start of that game. South Africans just like Rassi Erasmus more than Jacques Naiba. But yeah, I remember when he was getting, like, everyone was saying sack him. I think it was the Rugby Championship or the November Internationals, and everyone said, nah, get rid of him. He's not going to win us a World Cup. We don't want him. And then he went on and won it. I think it's a one World Cup. That in itself shows you World Rugby underpants. Says Ritsema. Yeah, I feel like they're due for another one. Maybe 2000. The crazy thing is 2035 is the next one up for grabs, which is still another 11 years away. Boiled egg, sliced potatoes, best food mayo, spring onion and mixed veggie. Best potato salad ever, says Doctor. Currently the Lions with 13 men on the field, trying to fight through the tricky times here. Mone van den Berg, nice offload up. Now again, that's stolen by Glasgow. They've got the clean turnover. I was composing a Rugby Union versus American football post around a room. Each is complicated around different things, says Gus. Yeah, like if you tried to teach a Rugby Union player all the set plays in American football, they have no chance for a start. Like eventually you get the hang of it. Like we're going to see it with Lewis Rees-Zammit because he's watched American football all his life. He does have a little bit of that knowledge in terms of how it works. Bunny Chow says Tibor. And also South Africa will never host another World Cup as long as ANC is in charge. And that's just being honest. Says CK, looks like an injury here for PJ Bota. Something to do with that left ankle. 56 career appearances for him. How many countries won 3 World Cups? Wins outside of the own country. Says Ritzema, well, I can tell you not many. That is sure. 1913 for the Ospreys at the moment. Also, the Dragons fighting back a little bit. And all teams struggle to play at Ellis Park, except the Lions' altitude makes quite a difference, says Jose. At halftime seemed longer, or is it this kettle slowly boiling, Kiwi lads? It's quicker than the stupid jug, says Honey. There's some games that seem to have about a 15-minute break at halftime, and this stoppage is not helping us in terms of being able to go to that next game in time. We've got 42 minutes till that next game stream is supposed to start, and we've currently got another 37 minutes remaining in this contest. While PJ Bota is down with the injuries, I played Madden from the beginning. I'm an expert at AFL rules, says Doctor. It was close to a tip tackle from Max Wani. He likes doing that. And I'm a little bit concerned that eventually he's going to get himself in a little bit of trouble by doing those tip tackles in this game. Now thrown to the front to JC Pretorius. Stays in the field of play. Gets up and tries to go again. Mone van den Berg. Back across to Willem Alberts. Now van den Berg looping around with PJ Bota. That's going to test out his ankle that he already had a bit of an injury to. Now van den Berg again goes off to the right-hand side. Lombard gives it to Hendrickse. Closer than my eyelashes score. Says Ruth. Yeah, still only 1 point between these two teams. Counter coming from Glasgow, and they've won the penalty again there. I think it was Willem Alberts tried to scoop that ball back onto his side. And he's been penalised for it there, Willem Alberts. If you consider crime has spiked by 1,000% since the 1995 World Cup in South Africa, and infrastructure collapse is definitely not coming here, says Albert. And who knows, maybe in 2035, which is the earliest that they could bet to have the World Cup, or at least bid to have the World Cup, like maybe things will be better for South Africa, but yeah, that 100 or 1,000% is a pretty brutal one, isn't it? I understand EA producing Madden, NFL games, it's a big market, but to start making college football games as well is just a piss take, given how other quality sports are completely overlooked. Says Sebastian, I mean, Rugby 25, I think it's going to be called now. Maybe Rugby 24 still. It's in the works. From what I've seen, they're doing some face scans of certain sides of the URC. So there's fingers crossed that that's going to work out. Hopefully it goes all right. Could be a little while, though, before we see any gameplay or anything like that. And who knows, maybe EA do decide that they want to take on a rugby game. Oh. 4's not good. He's being sick, they've just said. Yeah, big shot in the midsection of Gregor Brown, and I believe he's just thrown up. That's not... Oh, what do they do about that? Now that I think about it, how often does a player throw up on the field? And what are you supposed to do about it? Yeah, but that's Ant, not EA, right? That is true, yeah. Yeah, they're just going to clear it. Make sure it's all right. Yeah, the college thing is stupid. And thanks, Hamish. This thing is now boiling temps. Here is ridiculous. Sure, it's cold. Thank you. That commentary is soothing. Oh, they're saying there, going to get some fluids back into his body. And the band. There's the lollipop. All right, it's going to be a penalty. Glaswegian. Listening on holiday in Florida. Come on, Glasgow, love of Leinster. Don't get another home final, says Scott Stevenson. And that's the thing. Glasgow have played well enough throughout the season to have the opportunity to play our final at home. Yes, Leinster, they'd sell probably, I don't know, maybe a good 30,000, 40,000 more tickets to that game. But Glasgow to have that advantage would be pretty impressive. Throw sand on the vomit. It's how it's always been done. And do players spit and hoik on the field. Sometimes there's DS on there. And we used to slide in on all of it, says Doctor. Yeah, I'm sure that a player doesn't really want to have a face full of puke, though, do they? Like, ideally. But then there's nothing you can really do. Like you said, there's blood on the field, there's spit on the field, all sorts. It's from a big shot in Gregor Brown's midsection. That caused it. 46 minutes into the moment, Glasgow have still got a two-man advantage. And they will have so for the next 2 or so minutes. Then they are back to just the one-man advantage from Fenter's red card he got in the first half. Johnny Matthews now with the line-out throw here. Going to be nicely taken. As mentioned, US college football is functionally top league pro or top level pro league. Says Gus, I think it's more of the point though, could it be in the same game as Madden rather than a whole separate game? Out fitness them Lions. Says cool story, bro. Not used to these low scoring games anymore. And now close. They've changed it. If they, yes, they have. The try is there. I think it's Gregor Brown. Yes, it is. I mean, oh no, it was actually Ewan Ferry, sorry. Red card, but who saw it was Fenter off the bench, number 20 for the Lions in this game, Ruan Fenter, to get himself red carded after already having a yellow as well. Went for the head-on-head tackle, didn't work out for him. And Glasgow getting their second try now. I'm confused about this one because the Lions are still down that they have to get back in. This is going to be a weird finish to this game. I have just had a little bit of a feeling that we will still see maybe a try or two from the Lions. Rationally, yes. No for licensee, says Gus in there as well. But I wonder how well the college football game actually has done, like in terms of whether they've made a lot of money off it. Lines it up there for Horn. And the kick is good. 14 points to 8 now as the score in this contest. And South Africa's won 4 World Cups. And we have hosted once. Something is not right, says Jose. Yeah, they're just showing the reaching out from Ferry to get it on the line. Just. I'm talking just. Oh, looks like Nohamba. He has made his way onto the field. I think that would be for Gianni Lombard, who hasn't had the best game out on the field. Pretty quiet overall and actually missed a couple kicks that were relatively close to straight out in front. Now a big shot coming in on Nolre. He gets his offload away to Edwell van der Merwe and out Alberts. Glasgow's defence throughout that first half was at a 94% tackle completion. And that is normally how it stays. But here comes Maxoane down the wing. There's a missed tackle. That'll affect the odds. Maniaki, is he available for the Stormers match? Still injured? He is actually playing at 12, I believe, for that game up against the Stormers. Do those college players get paid? I'd assume that they would. Or they'd at least have scholarships. That's a loose ball. Cleaned up by Horn. It was actually close to an accidental forward pass. And Kyle Stain kicking it downfield. Great kick. And gets it into touch. Nohamba should take it quickly. But he's not going to. Nice Amish Tears Blues, Nate. Right. So, yeah, that's a forward pass. That's a forward pass from Glasgow. He's knocked it on into his teammate. That is accidental offside. That should be a Lions penalty, or at least a free kick for the Lions, 5 metres out from the try line. Okay, they can't check it because they can only check if there was a knock on, if it was in the the few phases before a try. So a little bit unlucky there. But in live time, that was accidental offside. And the Lions should have been a lot further down the field. 26-13 at the moment in the Ospreys versus Dragons game. CS leave Bloomer. And probably more because there are more teams. Plus, until recently, they only had to pay the universities and not the players. That has changed in the last 2 years. Says Gus. Now Horn. Back across to the left-hand side. Sione Tuipalotu gets it away to Slade McDowell. Another tip tackle coming in from Jordan Hendrickson, but he keeps his legs down so he doesn't end up getting penalised for it. Now Horn. Back across. Good run from Kyle Rowe. Goes through. He's got Horn with him. It looks like he's just going to back himself to go through, but it's a great tackle made by Juan Horn. He's lost his footing, but he's got the turnover first. Now Willem Alberts. In fact, that time it's Horn. Goes off to Edwell. van der Merwe tries to chip him behind. It sits up for him. Stafford McDowell's not going to catch him, and it's a full field try from the Lions with Edwell van der Merwe. One way of doing it. Mate, the guy's been around for a decade. Bunny Oki's still out there. Good player. Tell you what, he's probably found his best form over the last 2 or so years, Bundy Aki. Like, before then he was good, right? But recently he's just found his next gear, and I feel like the injury might have halted him a little bit. Once again, Edwell van der Merwe. It's just done a bit of individual brilliance. Great Southern Hemisphere try, says Doctor. But yeah, the counter-attack from inside of their own 22, Edwell van der Merwe went for the chip in behind, which at first seemed like it was going to be risky. But Stafford McDowell wasn't quite able to get across. What a try, says Grant. Kind of reminded me of a try you'd get in Rugby Challenge 4 in terms of that chip in behind, but they don't pick it up as cleanly as that man did. But now Nohamba will be lining up this kick. And it has gone over. That now gives the Lions a 15 points to 14 lead here. It's one way of doing it. Well, we will go like that. And we will go like that as well. There we go. Yeah, 15-14 at the moment between these two teams. Edwell van der Merwe single-handedly getting his side back into it from inside of the 22. Apologies from Bricks. Says, cool story, bro. Like I mentioned, for these two sides, even if you don't win this game, you at least need some form of point. Desperately for the Lions more so. Because Glasgow are already confirmed in the quarterfinals. But on the other side of things, the Lions still have a bit of work to do. They have to beat the Stormers next week That could be a very important try. It certainly could be. Although it looks like Kyle Rowe is trying to get another one to his name. Taken down by Max Wane. Still just in the field of play. Counter ruck coming from the Lions. Oh, knocked out of the hands. Kronya. Ball off the money. Vandenberg. He's got pace. Ball on the inside. Back to Max Wane. And it's another one for the Lions. 2 in 2 minutes. 14 men on the field. This is an underdog story and a half. And it is another one. And how is Glasgow not running away with this game, says CK. The Lions just aren't giving up, is the best way of describing it. Max Wane. Second try in the URC for that man. Oh yeah, says Doctor. The counter-attack in rugby at its finest. Oh, he slapped the hand. And managed to get the turnover there for Kronya. Looked like Vandenberg. Might have got the pass back in the end, but instead Max Wane runs it in. So many options for the Lions. Turning point in the game, says Grant there. Fighting through the adversity at the moment. Hang on, hang on. Is it the TMO? I think they're going to look at playing the arm of the halfback here. And see it from the wide angle. Now, this is where my rule knowledge or my law knowledge isn't the best. But the Kronya knock it on in the process of turning that one over. It's a try. They've got the thumbs up. Game on. Let's do this, gentlemen. Another thriller in the grills. Oops, the refs. Says Blues Nate. Right, they're going to be restarting the shot clock now. The Lions with 25 minutes remaining. Like I mentioned, the next game that we are doing is actually Connacht versus... Oh, sorry, I'll have to listen to the lady on Google Translate. Connacht, and they will be going head-to-head with the Stormers. Ladies and gentlemen, that has taken place in only around 30 or so minutes time. We're going to be live covering that game as well. Sweat and bricks, says Doctor. And this is awesome. Go the Lions, says Albert there. Now lining up the kick. Nohamba has got it. And now with 25 minutes left, like I mentioned, the Lions have taken a 22-14 lead. Try time, says Dominique there. But this has been a turnaround and a half in this game, ladies and gentlemen. To be able to go from where they were to where they are now in this game, they've got 14 men on the field. And while this changes things, if Glasgow lose, I mean the Stormers will travel to Glasgow for their quarterfinal, says CK, and come on the Lions, says Doctor. Now running it forward again there. On the halfway line for Glasgow. They need a try and they need it soon. They're down by 8 at the moment. It looks like one of their replacement props is running a little bit gingerly as well. Kyle Stain tackled by the replacement Loosehead for the Lions. Now Jack Dempsey looking to add some nice injection off the bench. And Matt Fagerson both available for Glasgow in this game. George Horn might have to put in about a 70-minute performance here for his side. Back across. Still in play. George Horn going for the chip in behind. Running after this one. Beautifully taken by Sinelli Nohamba. JC Pretorius offload on the outside to Morne Vandenberg. Great step. Back to Pretorius. He flicks it off. It's going to be 3 in a row for the Lions. And JC Pretorius is the man who reaps the rewards. The Lions are on fire at the moment, ladies and gentlemen, here. And they just keep going. Counter-attack is phenomenal. JC Pretorius gets his first try of the contest. This one might be done and dusted for Glasgow if they're not careful. What a try. Not sure I fancy a trip to Glasgow for the quarterfinal and play off first place 8. Another try. Woohoo. Says Albert that this is a turnaround and a half here from the Lions, just down the wide channels similar to what they did in their game up against Leinster, and altitude is catching Glasgow? I don't know if it is. I feel like they're just making a lot of silly errors that are then allowing the Lions to play this counter-attacking style where they're actually more effective than when they're on just general attack. Their counter-attack is one of the best in the competition, and that's a bold claim, but I'm sticking with it from what we're seeing here, and also from what we've seen in a few of their other games recently. Well, they have given themselves a chance going into the last round with the Sharks, 5 teams on 49 points. And yeah, that is also the bonus point for the Lions, which is extremely crucial. Nohamba using up as much of the time as he can. And what plays 3 and 4? Says Arthur. So 3 will play 6, 4 will play 5 in terms of the rankings, if that is your question there, Arthur. Just great passing from the Lions. You can see the excitement on the player faces as well. They know how crucial that try is. It's definitely altitude, says Albert. Although people thought that in the game up against the Bulls that they would slow down later on in the contest, and it just didn't quite seem to be the case. Of course, different altitude than that game. But I just feel like the Lions have found their rhythm here. I remember they started at pace, says Albert. Yeah, although Glasgow, one of the fittest sides around when it comes to their defence. Like, you always see them make 95% or so of their tackles. But I think that Morné Vandenberg's pace down the wing, he has been a game changer in this one, because we have seen in the last 2 tries, he has been the one who's got that big break. 3 tries in 4 minutes, says Arthur there. But yeah, insane change in this game. Glasgow were given a 68% chance of winning this contest, not even 10, 20 minutes ago. Johnny Matthews throws it in. Glasgow, like I mentioned, at worst, they want to walk away from this game with 2 points. Offload from Dempsey. Now Kyle Rowe managing to break through. There's still plenty left in the gas tank for this Glasgow side. Good low tackle made on Johnny Matthews. Now back across to the right-hand side. Kyle Rowe. He's been running hard all day. Munster still in first, says Tyke. Although there's a chance that if Glasgow can somehow fire back or Leinster win their game, that will change a little bit. They have got Ulster a bit later on there, Glasgow. Another kick in behind is not successful 2 weeks in a row. Glasgow won't hold up at altitude, says Albert. Yeah, although the way that they finished their game up against the Bulls, they were down by about 3 tries and came back and scored. So that is why I feel like there's still a chance that there's a bit of something late here for this Glasgow team. But if the Lions can counter-attack again like they're about to try here, could be all over for Glasgow. Great low tackle. That one's going to be knocked on by Morné Vandenberg. He gave it away by jogging after it. It's going to be the scrum now for Glasgow. The Stormers will not like travel again. They will come back, play 1 game at home, then get back on the plane again, says CK. And yeah, the turnaround in the URC is pretty quick. You know, you're straight into your playoff games pretty much the week after. And depending on when you're playing will depend on if you get, you know, a few extra days rest, but pretty much, yeah, you're pretty much straight on the plane. I told you the Lions would out-fitness them with their bricks training. Says good story, bro. And Kyle Steyn can't play for South Africa, not good enough. Well, Kyle Steyn says Zema there, and Dam looks doing a surprise, says Justin. I mean, the Lions in their game up against Cardiff, they actually finished quite well in that game as well, with how they were able to finish strong. But yeah, Morné Vandenberg has just looked everywhere at the moment. And then just the great passing, unselfish from Cronje as well for that last try to give it back to JC Pretorius. Yeah, scores the forward roly-poly try. A little bit risky. Last thing you want is to injure yourself in a try celebration. Johannesburg is much higher than Pretoria, 1,300 metres versus 1,700 metres. Says Albert, who scored for the Lions, says Justin. So the 3 quick-fire tries that we did see, one for JC Pretorius, one was scored by Max Wane, and then one was scored by, I think it was Edwell van der Merwe, but I could be wrong there. Who scored the 3rd of the quick-fire tries. And if they are second, then I expect a fight back from the Glassy men, says a doctor. And now Dobie onto the field. That is for George Horn. It's been taken off now. Those late subs is actually where Glasgow normally start to find their feet, find their rhythm. That is a big push from both of these sides. And the ball is going to be there for Dobie. Tuipulotu in behind. Interception from Nohamba. Now altitude does not cause that, but Nohamba is quick and his intercept timing. He scores another try. The crowd are electric at the moment in this game. But every time Glasgow try and use their backline, just straight up there, Nohamba read it like it was a book. And it's another one coming. That young fan was loving it in his Springboks jersey. And 10-10-10 says Brian there. And I'm a Lord, come on, the Lions feel sorry for Edward van der Merwe, such a talent. But back in the pecking order. And Glasgow have given up and didn't Rabs get 2 tries. So he has scored, 2 in this match. But I think one of his was in the first half, wasn't it? Did he score the first try of the contest? Or was it the one in the second half that he was able to score? But just the ball. Oh, that was high from Max Wane there. I don't think they'll check it though, but just a little bit around the chin of the Glasgow player. You have no fight back for this. Lions feasting on the Scots. Oh, we're seeing it again here. Going to see the replay. Yeah, it hits him on the head. Now, if there were more Glasgow supporters, if this was played on the shoulder and the head comes forward as the call, so that is going to be the try awarded. Probably very lucky there. We're seeing yellow cards for less. Altitude causes lapse in concentration because your lungs are burning, says Albert. Yeah, although that was just a pass that was intercepted. In terms of that one, like if Nohamba didn't rush up the way that he did, perhaps that backline could have functioned in that scenario. Now, nicely done for the Lions. But I will ask the question, Albert, are you saying that the Lions are only winning this game because they're playing at altitude? Because if you're saying that Glasgow are heavily affected by the altitude and the Lions aren't, does that mean that you feel like if this game was played anywhere else that the Lions would struggle? Just asking. 16 minutes remaining though. And this contest is going to be going down to the wire. Who's left in this, Hamish? Or what's left in this? So at the moment, if Tuipulotu and his Glasgow side can get 2 more tries, they will get themselves possibly 2 points in this game. PJ Bota looking for the turnover and he gets it. All momentum is on the favour of the Lions at the moment. They actually got better since losing a player. Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying, says Albert. And that's going to be concerning for their quarter-final, isn't it, when they do have to play in the Northern Hemisphere at non-altitude. Our Lions hungry for the top 8. And so the Lions move into the top 8. No, they do not. They would still be just outside because Benetton got themselves the bonus point in their game. So they would currently be just behind because of the points, or not the points differential. They are actually leading the points differential. But the other side of things is that they are behind in matches won. So that is something that could actually cost the Lions in the long run here. They are in 9th at the moment. They've got 1 less win than Benetton. They've got 1 less win than Ulster. They've got 1 less win, or 2 less wins, in fact, than Edinburgh. Glasgow are a different team at home. The Bulls did the Lions dirty then, says Justin. And the Lions want to win, says Werner. And altitude didn't affect Munster. Yeah, they're one of the sides that showed that no matter where they play, they are going to be handy enough. We sit in top of the table. And Morne Vandenberg, people have no idea how much altitude at 1,700 metres matter. Now back to the left-hand side. And behind Jack Dempsey. Going across here to Sione Tuipulotu. Goes wide to Kyle Rowe with the bounce pass. Good stepping from Rowe. He's actually been very strong throughout this game. Kyle Rowe, one of the shining lights for this Glasgow team. We still have 15 minutes to try and get back into this contest. A team that want to win will win. Now passed on the outside to Kyle Steyn. Missed tackle from Morne Vandenberg. And Lions will have to play all the playoffs away. So yeah, 1, 2, 3. It is true. Every single game from here on out for the Lions will be away from home, including that one up against the Stormers. That has taken place very soon. Now Jack Dempsey running forward, fends off 1 and Max Wane. And Lions will play away at the Sharks next week. Says CK. Now a little flick pass. That's beautifully done from the big man Scott Cummings. Up to 6 phases now in a row here for Glasgow. Skip pass out wide to Kyle Stain. Dragged down by Edward van der Merwe. They're making plenty of metres at the moment here at Glasgow. Now Henko Fenta, man who's familiar with South African conditions. Toby. And across again, Sione Toipolotu passes out wide to Kyle Romax. Wane seems to be slipping a lot over his own feet. Nice comment, read it like a book. Says Ritzema. And Munster can beat any team anywhere. Class team broke my heart when they beat the Stormers in the final, says Justin. Now running forward, Johnny Matthews up to 12 phases in a row. And I can tell you right now, Glasgow would much rather have the possession in this game. That's going to be, or should have been, a not rolling away advantage. And yep, they will go back now for it. The Lions doing Leinster a favour. If they get a good result, they will top the table, says Sean. And does New Zealand have altitude, or is it flat? I know they have some mountains. It's not really altitude anywhere that I know of. Like, nothing compared to what you get in South Africa and whatnot. Apologies, it is Lions Stormers. Sharks versus Bulls, says CK. Did Affies win? No, they didn't. In the end, I think it was Grays that actually got up and won it by, I think it was 3 points in the end in that contest, but time is off again. Soon as this game ends, ladies and gentlemen, we are going straight over to that next matchup that has taken place between the Stormers and also Connacht. No altitude. Too low on the planet, says Doctor. The crowd have been loving the second half. Compared to the first anyway, there has been a massive turnaround for the Lions, who have been dominating in this second 27 minutes. And they've had less men on the field in the process, which I feel like is a massive credit to the heart that they are showing. They knew how important this game was. Kicking it now for the corner by Duncan Weir. Playing some good songs at the stadium at the moment. 12 minutes left for Glasgow. They need 2 tries here. Good luck for Connacht. I have to keep on listening to Google Translate. I don't know why Connacht isn't just sticking in my head. I feel like I have to say it 50 times so that it actually stays in there. Connacht. We'll keep on saying it every once in a while. The Glasgow, they're only 2 metres out from the line now. Looks like Dobie's going across as Lombard playing. He is. He had a pretty rough game though. Missed a couple kicks straight out in front. And Munster were very conservative with how they used their energy. And that is the try for Glasgow. This time I think it's Josh Mackay, yes it is, who has crossed the try line. Loving it, mate. What a regroup in plan B. Glasgow should have learnt from that. Although the thing with Munster in their game, the reason they were able to be so conservative up against the Bulls was because the Bulls had 15 handling errors or so in that game. And because there were so many stoppages, including penalties as well, like when you look at 10 plus handling errors, about 7 or 8 penalties against a side in a game, that uses up a lot of time and that gives you a lot of time to regroup. And Munster, they were fortunate enough that the Bulls did have so many handling errors because they got the stoppages, they got the scrums, and because they were able to use that to their advantage, they got themselves the win in the long run. Munster play a nice basic rugby, and Hamish, no pizza for me tonight. I've had 2 big packets of crisps, a rugby and commentary too good to go to the shop, says Brian. And yeah, the next game is coming straight afterwards as well. This game proves that red cards do not ruin games. I say no to 20-minute red cards, people. There's Grant. Okay, time is off at the moment, which does mean this game is going to go right down to the wire of that next game starting, ladies and gentlemen. And going to put the South African team forward packs under pressure, says Justin. Currently 15 points difference. Glasgow need 1 try to get the bonus point, 2 tries to get within 7 and get the second bonus point in this matchup. Well taken by Matt Fagerson. They're just out from their own line here. Glasgow thought about the pass there. Scott Cummings, but beautiful sell of the dummy. He's got really good hands. Scott Cummings, that is a rough pass. Knocked on from Josh Mackay. And that is going to be only 7 metres out from the line. A Lions scrum feed now. For Glasgow, though, they're in the situation now. Maybe they can't win this game from here, but they can get themselves a 4th try. They have to throw caution to the wind like they did up against the Bulls. Go for the risk, hope for the reward. All right, time is off again. This one is going to go a bit longer. It's going to be about a 2-hour match up at this rate, which hopefully won't take us too far into that Connacht versus Glasgow Stormers game. It is just around the corner, ladies and gents. Connacht. We've got to keep on saying it. That's the one word, I think, at the moment that just doesn't want to roll off my tongue. Yes to 20-minute red cards, but if offence is malice with intent, should be a full game red. Says Doctor, and Lions are roaring. The Irish teams have many foreigners. Says Ritsema. But it's club rugby. You're allowed to have foreigners. You know, you sign people from all around the world. Munster have Damien de Allende. They have Alex Nankerville. Or actually, Damien de Allende is now in Japan, isn't he? He's actually made that switch. Looks like it's going to be a scrum reset. Lions won't mind that one bit. They don't have that many, says Justin. Yes, Connacht is a tongue twister. It's the way it's spelt. It makes me want to say it like it's a yacht, but it's not. Connacht. There we go. We're getting there. We got 10 minutes to learn how to say it because that's the next live stream, ladies and gentlemen, that is taking place. And it's going to be kicking off very soon. No more foreigners. Munster is no good, says Doctor. And Connacht ends with a hard G at the end. And our ball is going to be fed in by Morne van den Berg, collapsing under the pressure there of the scrum. They're only 10 metres out at the moment. I think van den Berg deserves a try. With the way that he has played throughout this game, just a little sniping one that was close to playing the man off his feet there. Trying to get the turnover here. Glasgow searching for it. But it's on their side. Like they've just said, they're going to control the clock and the territory here. Ready to go around the side of the breakdown again. And I was just out of curiosity, while you are live streaming Stormers and not the Sharks games, says Pixie Dust. So the only reason we're doing the Stormers rather than the Sharks, to be honest, is just because of where they are ranked on the overall standings. Like the fact that both of those sides are close to the top 8 for Stormers versus Connacht is the main reason that we're doing it. And an Irish Connaught, but doubt that will help, says Tig. So Connaught. I suck at saying it. This is, the thing is, the only reason I don't want Connacht in the top 8 is because I can't say their name. That is the only reason. Thanks, says Pixie Dust. But yeah, we're also going to be giving updates of that Sharks versus Cardiff game at the same time. Going to be keeping them both going and got to keep the greedy Sharks away from van den Berg. Nohamba with some nice stepping. Thought about the offload. Looking for the offload again there, and the penalty does go the way of the Lions. Does Morne van den Berg want to try and take this one quickly? Looks like they're calling for the shot at the post here by the looks of it. It's going to be for offside, 5 metres out from the line. Double below the whistle. There is a player down. No team who loses to Benetton at home. Says Hamish's time for the commentary, says Justin. Although Benetton showed in that game up against the Bulls that they can still score tries. They average around that 25 points like I mentioned. Connacht, maybe. I was just admit you are streaming the Stormers game because you hate the Sharks, as you should. Says Grant. Don't know about that. I love you, Hamish, says Ritsema. Now Nahamba will be lining up the 3 points here. Still 7 minutes remaining in this matchup. Like I said, as soon as this game ends, we're going straight over to that next contest. In fact, what we might do quickly is actually change the start time of that next stream because of the slight delays that we got. There we go. An afternoon, Hammy. Thanks, you keep good. It's in the bag, says Obi and Ospreys. 26-13 at full time. Is that a bonus point win for the Ospreys sleeve in the end, or did they just get themselves the 4 points in that one? Benetton are underrated. Their centre pairing is Magnifico, says Tyke. Yeah, I mean, they've got some great players, Benetton. But using up all the time on the clock that he can here. I hope Ngome Zulu gets more game time tonight, says Justin. And That one's gone over from Nohamba. 39 points to 21. Glasgow at this point cannot win this game, but they can still get themselves the bonus point. That would be if they score one more try here. The Lions would love nothing more, though, to stop them from scoring any sort of point from this contest, and the Lions are already getting themselves the 5, but that puts them just outside of the top 8. It was hard on the back. It's going to be kicked back off by Duncan Ware into the 22 here. And the Lions may consider trying to run this one out again. Ospreys are on 45 points. Says CK. It's going to be kicked downfield. Nicely taken by Josh Mackay at the back. Ospreys 5 points from that game, so that'll be very handy for them. Nice attack and run from Sione Tuipolotu. Adobe. Cross again and behind Weir. Going one more to Mackay. Johnny Matthews. Yes, but what is this club without foreign bought players versus the Lions playing with own talent? Says Ratzima. But there's no rule that says you can't sign overseas players, or else these clubs would look very different. Yes, some of the South African sides would look pretty similar. That's going to be knocked on from Sione Tuipolotu. At the end of this URC season is getting tasty, says Justin. Glasgow Warriors fans singing Neil Diamond's Sweet Caroline. The altitude argument is a joke. South African teams have to play 6 games in Europe, while the European teams only play 2 games in South Africa. The South African teams do way more travelling, says WLK. And it would be great if the Lions finish 7th, not 8th, or else they won't make the Champions Cup, says 123 MS. And how long left for Glasgow to get a bonus point? They currently have 4.5 minutes left. Sounds like you have the commentator Yips Connacht. And one day is a long time that will not change. In my lifetime, USA unfortunately will not allow BRICS to have their own currency. And it's an amazing game, don't you think? With the early card and all, my mum says thanks for your hard work. Says cool story, bro. Yeah, it's certainly been a turnaround in terms of the Lions at 7 points to 8 at halftime. They were ahead. And from there, they've gone on to get themselves 24 points in this second half. Visaki has made his way onto the field by the looks of it. And I agree, teams are fit enough. It's only a weak excuse, says Brian. And Brian Loader says 123 MS. Russ is onto the field. That is for Jordan Hendrickse. 4 minutes remaining in this game. I assume that they will slightly delay that start between... Oh, actually, no, I'm not sure they'd actually delay that game between Connacht and the Stormers. I think they'd just get straight into the action when it does take place. We are straight into the action as well on the channel, ladies and gents, transferring straight over to that stream. That is going to be the Lions free kick. And it is better than playing a New Zealand club team full of New Zealanders. Enjoy winning a club game for once. Says Doctor, unfortunately the Lions will not make the playoffs. They won't beat the Stormers in Cape Town, although in their favour. The Stormers come from travelling with no rest. Jet lag will be a big issue. And the Chuka brothers and Diamani are foreign players too, aren't they? Says Justin. Yeah, the Chuka brothers from the Democratic Republic of Congo. The altitude argument is a joke because no one is higher than a Scot. Says Sebastian. 3 minutes left now. Oh, early push there from Glasgow. They're getting penalised at scrum time pretty much every time here. I think Xander Fagerson wanted to have a chat to the ref. The ref tells him to go away. 3 minutes left now to score one last try. I believe that they would consider going for the 3 points here. But I would like to see them kick for the corner. And it looks like... Are they going to do it? Yeah, it does look like they're going to kick this one for the corner. They've now got themselves the 18-point lead. Ben Loader, who adopted him at the Stormers, he's not foreign anymore, says Grant. Hey, what, my eyes are a bit bloodshot at the moment, ladies and gentlemen. They're looking pretty red currently. But one more game. That's all we have got for the weekend. Next weekend, we are going to have the Champions Cup as well as Super Rugby that has taken place. So I believe we will be covering about 6 games or somewhere around there, maybe a couple more for Super Rugby next week. We're going to be covering Chiefs, Hurricanes, Brumbies, Rebels, And then also, I believe we are going to be covering Crusaders Blues and Highlanders Drua. We got the 4 games, so 6 in total for the weekend. South African teams do have a big disadvantage with all the travel, but altitude is definitely a factor for visiting teams. Says Gano there. Diamani is a South African, his dad is Nigerian. Says Grant. Now 5 meters out here, running off the back. Oh, who was that? Facing the wrong way. A man was dealing with his headgear. I think that was Max Williamson. And perfect work from the Lions. They saw the opportunity to pounce, and the Tangyo will be the man who scores the try here. Season tries 3. Oh, in fact, no, sorry, it's Sergil who has been able to score it. What happened here to Max Williamson? He rips his headgear off, wasn't looking the right way, and playing the Lions at home is a tough ask, especially in the second half. Says Jose. Yeah, he should have been less worried about his headgear and more worried about making a tackle there for Williamson. This will use up a majority of the time now remaining on the clock by the time this kick is taken. Lohamba getting ready for this kick. And Lowell says, Doctor, 30 seconds left. I don't think he can use up all the time remaining on the clock. So Glasgow still have half a shot of getting themselves the bonus point. See there, Mornay Stain in the background, running the drinks for the Lions. He's about to kick it. Right to the final moment. He's actually shanked it away, Nohamba. Has missed his kick. Altitude is real. Coming from the coast, you go for a run up there. You're out of puff in no time, says Lollipop. And anyone knows if there's a Ifrik Cup comps for the men's this year? Every 2 years it takes place. Not actually too sure, Nate. I haven't heard anything about it. That is the siren at the moment. Glasgow, though, they've got one last chance to get the bonus point. The Lions want to do everything in their power to stop them from getting that point. Because if they get it, that's kind of taken away some of the hard work that the Lions have had in this game. And, of course, it doesn't change the outcome for the Lions in this game. They're still getting the 5 points. But Glasgow, of course, if they can keep them from getting the bonus point in this game, that would be a big confidence booster and a bit of a confidence hurter for Glasgow. And lets the fly on a private jet. So here's a Brian, now Duncan Weir running forward. By Russ. Now in behind. Seems like there's not a lot of attacking urgency at the moment. The point is European rugby only strong because of money, says Ritzima. I mean, they do say money makes the world go round, don't they? And I mean, France, Japan, they have plenty of great players over there due to the money that does get generated from those competitions. A little bit of a counteract there from the Lions. Ferguson has to play halfback. This one is going to go right to the start of the next contest, ladies and gentlemen, but we have to wait to see whether or not Glasgow will get themselves another try here. Kyle Steyn, ball is stripped by Mornay Vandenberg. The Lions will kick it into touch, and they've won this game 44 points to 21. But nonetheless, I do thank you all very much for tuning into this contest. Back in the days, and Cock goes in, passes out to Mornay Staines. Classic Grant Nisbet says, Doctor, but now we are going to be going over to that next contest, ladies and gentlemen, that is taking place. That is going to be the game between the Stormers and also their opposition in that game, Connacht. I think, anyway. Hang on. TVNZ have taken it away. Where has it gone? I've got rid of that game. We'll have to find it in a very short moment, but thank you all very much for tuning in. I will see you all for the next one.